Might want to stop and listen to this.
And continue on talking about the CERN collider and its real agenda. Okay, so we're on the verge of a paradigm shift. They've cracked open a portal or doorway or whatever you want to call it from another dimension. By their own admission, they are already in communication with something that has a personality and has ability to communicate. And the information that they're receiving must be very high-level information, because they're feeding it to laboratories and technologies all across the planet. And what you said, which is so sobering, that video on the internet that captured it was an open satanic worship ceremony, I guess in the Goddard Tunnel.
Yes.
And I saw it and I was like, my mouth hung open because it was so in your face, Luciferian and satanic.
I would say we've probably not seen something that bold in the mainstream media.
No, we haven't.
In our lifetime.
No. And you know, there's been an escalation, and it keeps getting faster and more bold and more prominent. The Illuminati symbols at the Super Bowls and these giant musical performances in stadiums by music superstars and the Olympics. There are in-your-face occult messages and satanic messages and symbols, which tells you there's a very powerful Luciferian elite in this world, very active, and they're not hiding anymore.
No, they're not.
They've come out.
Because they've progressed in their timeline to the point where they feel invulnerable and no longer have to hold back. In fact, they want to be more bold about it so that they can gather themselves more converts to their way.
That would make sense.
Pull away from us.
Yeah, that would make sense, because here in the U.S. we have this rise in the satanic churches.
Exactly.
But it says there, he claims that CERN destroyed the universe during recent experiments, which has resulted in us living in a nearby parallel universe instead.
You're welcome, Eddie.
There's a lot of people online that think this is an explanation for all the Mandela effect things that people keep finding
he goes
online.
into stuff about the Mandela effect, how, you know, there's like apparently a bunch of people who think Mandela died in prison.
Right.
And like there's, you know, and as far as I know, he was released, became president of South America. You know, and that's the universe I'm from, just personally.
What's really weird is the particular place that CERN was created. CERN itself was built below a old temple of Apollo, which in ancient times was considered to be a portal to the underworld, or CERN is partially situated. It's called Saint Genus Poli. Excuse my French. Literally. The name Poli comes from the Latin Apollicum, and it is believed that in Roman times a temple existed in honor of Apollo, and the people who lived there believed that it is a gateway to the underworld. It is interesting to note that CERN is built on the same spot.
Scientists at the European Organization for Nuclear Research, or CERN, as it's better known, have discovered a way to open up an interdimensional portal.
We just had collisions at an unprecedented energy, 13.6 tera-electron-volt, and this opens a new era of exploration at CERN.
This time, the discovery has been made by a team of physicists and technologists working on the Large Hadron Collider, the world's most powerful particle accelerator. In today's video, we'll be taking a deep dive into the secretive intergovernmental organization.
One of the biggest scientific experiments ever conducted, bringing together over 10 7,000 scientists from 85 different countries, the LHC measures over 27 kilometers in circumference and stretches beneath the Swiss-French border. Weighing over 7,000 tons, the LHC is so powerful that scientists were able to create the conditions that occurred 1/billionth of a second after the universe began. Other scientists believe that CERN may have accidentally opened a portal to an alternate universe, allowing beings or substances from another dimension to pass through into ours. The demons are one explanation, with some saying that CERN opened a portal to hell with the Large Hadron Collider.
Did you see what was happening in Peru, bro? What was happening in Peru? There's a Peruvian village in the mountains that claimed they were being attacked for weeks since July 11th by 7-foot tall aliens that were dressed like the Green Goblin. They were 7 feet tall with armor and yellow eyes. This was on the news. The army was there. The cops was there. Supposedly a 15-year-old girl almost got. The locals would shoot at him, but every time they shoot, that was like deflect off. But nobody talking about this. You know what the cops said they were, bro? They said they're gold using jetpacks. First of all,
don't have jetpacks.
No, but don't got. That's what, like, I looked it up on Google. That's literally what it said. But do you think they actually like experienced something, or you think they're just?
Now, if everybody in the village is saying that, I think it's like, okay, yeah, it's for real.
Think so? They call them like skin peelers. Like, a lot of the people in the village went missing, and then they found their bodies and like their like faces like peeled back.
Nah, I think it's real, bro.
I think they seen something.
Like, if you told me this happened like 50, 100 years ago, I'd be like, word, that's another folk tale, bro. We talking about 2023, bro. They got cameras on them. They ain't lying like that.
According to these gentlemen, what they're seeing are 7-foot-tall entities that are arrayed in silver armored bodysuits. The gentleman makes reference to the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. Sometimes they're saying also that they're dressed in cloaks with hoods. These entities apparently have discs on the bottom of their shoes that project a red light and that enable them to float off the ground, and they can also lift off into the air. When the villagers fire at these entities, the entities are apparently bulletproof, and they just disappear or they float off into the jungle. That's what they're saying. And the way that they're describing these entities disappearing is reminiscent of the Predator from the movie.
It's all happening again. Tribal members in the Alto Nene district in the jungles of Peru claim they're being invaded by something not of this world. They've dubbed these entities Los Pelacaras, or the face peelers, after the body of a local man was said to be found in a river missing his face. Whatever or whoever they are have come nightly to attack villagers since the middle of July. Witnesses have claimed that these 7-foot-tall creatures might be aliens or creatures from folklore. However, the purpose of these attacks remains unknown. Leaders in the community have described them as having large heads and yellow eyes. They're also seen to be wearing masks or cloaks, and have also been seen levitating several feet in the air. Those who stand their ground say their weapons don't face these things at all, and one teenage girl who was attacked narrowly escaped with her life. And at this point, the tribe has been requesting aid from the Peruvian military. But this isn't the first time something like this has happened. You see, between 1977 and 1978, the island of Colares, Brazil, endured dozens of incidents of bodily harm or worse to locals in the wake of a massive UFO flap that was all documented by the Brazilian military. And although there may be an explanation for this, it's made many people think that.
So you remember when everybody said the goddamn aliens in Peru was fake, right? Yep, I'm gonna need you to stop, pause, and listen. Somebody that caught one of these big head ass Yakub looking ass creatures on the camera. They are allegedly saying these creatures have armor on and bullets cannot penetrate them. Yeah, and these quote-unquote extraterrestrials are allegedly tearing people's faces off and abducting children. There has been multiple accounts, including this 15-year-old girl. One of the victims was a 15-year-old little girl who was hospitalized and had lashes and shit around her neck. Me personally, in my personal opinions, yeah, they trying to get people ready for Project Bluebeam. They already cracking it off with this war. Then after the war, then an alien invasion come. Then the world drop all their differences to come together to fight this alien invasion, right? And then we have the New World Order. Let those who eyes see clearly, and those who don't, I honestly don't give a damn. Let me know what y'all think about this one in the comments. Follow me for more wisdom. Hit that plus button and stay tuned.
In Peru's jungle, they say that extraterrestrials invaded their community. Even though they defended themselves with bullets, the bullets didn't affect the beings at all. There's the video of the people shooting at the supposed beings at night. People said that they're so afraid of these things. They say these things are like giants 7 feet tall. And they have outfits that look like astronauts. This extraterrestrial are dressed of something that is like bulletproof and is green, like the one from Spider-Man. He shot at one twice. Before it fell down, it disappeared before touching the ground. These people are looking out at night to protect themselves and to try to capture these extraterrestrial beings that had attacked a 15-year-old girl.
Many have drawn similarities with the Book of Revelations 9:2, which speaks of a bottomless pit that angels who have sinned are cast into. Theorists believe that the mysterious energy released during the experiment is from this bottomless pit. Many have begun to associate the Large Hadron Collider's 7.2-kilometer circular structure with the ring of the pit. This ties closely with theories from within CERN attempting to open portals for demons to enter our world via the collider. We know that CERN's experiment disrupted the Earth's magnetic field and found more new particles that can be used to transfer matter and potentially open up new interdimensional portals. CERN is a highly secretive international agency that has repeatedly made waves in the news for its mind-boggling experiments and discoveries. It's an intergovernmental organization funded by 23 member states with the goal of researching particle physics and advancing scientific knowledge.
In its simplest form, CERN's main purpose is to explore the fundamentals of the universe in order to gain a deeper understanding of how it works and to unlock new capabilities like time travel. Since its inception in 1954, CERN has been pushing the boundaries of science and technology by constructing sophisticated equipment to test their theories, including the Large Hadron Collider, the LHC, a 17-mile-long particle accelerator. Oof. Now,
this is the city where Satan dwells in. In Revelation, chapter 2, verse 13, the Bible says, "I know where you live, where Satan has his throne. Yet you remain true to my name. You did not renounce your faith in me, not even in the days of Antipas, my faithful witness, who was put to death in your city, where Satan lives." Well, if you look up the martyr of St. Antipas, you'll see that it was under the reign of Emperor Nero, in a city that is now known as Geneva. And if you're wondering what's in Geneva, you'll find the company CERN, whose main mission is to create the God particle, attempting to split the veil between the supernatural and natural realm, possibly opening a supernatural portal to the underworld. So is it a coincidence that the Bible mentioned that?
High government officials disclosing extraterrestrials. Paul Hellyer.
Paul Hellyer, former Minister of Defense of Canada, and he believes that life forms from space exist and are present on Earth. Why do you say that UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying over our heads?
Well, because I know that they are. And they've been, as a matter of fact, they've been visiting our planet for thousands of years. And one of the cases that would interest you most, if you give me 2 or 3 minutes to answer, is during the Cold War, 1961, there were about 50 UFOs in formation flying south from Russia to across Europe. And the Supreme Allied Commander was very concerned and about ready to press the panic button when they turned around and went back over the North Pole. So they decided to do an investigation, and they investigated for 3 years, and they decided that with absolute certainty that 4 different species at least, had been visiting this planet for thousands of years. So that's we have a long history of UFOs, and of course there's been a lot more activity in the last few decades since we invented the atomic bomb, and they're very concerned about that and the fact that we might use it again. And because the whole cosmos is a unity, and it affects not just us but other people in the cosmos, they're very much afraid that we might be stupid enough to start using atomic weapons again, and this would be very bad for us and for them as well.
Did you know there might be a crashed UFO underwater off the coast of Sweden? It's called the Baltic Sea Anomaly, and in 2011 explorers discovered this bizarre object on the seafloor. When they returned to study it more, their equipment strangely stopped working when they got within 650 feet of it, and it would turn back on again when they backed off. It's around 200 feet wide and 26 feet tall, and it appears like it could be man-made. Its circular shape and angular patterns on it has led many to believe that it could be an alien spaceship. However, most scientists agree that it's probably just a glacial deposit. But what do you think it is? Let me know what you think in the comments.
I was watching this documentary today about a UFO landing in Brazil in 1996. Holy shit, it's incredible. There's a city called Varginha in Brazil, and according to everyone who was there, according to medical records of people who were there, the military came in, cordoned off the area, they recovered a crashed UFO, and there was living creatures that people came in contact with, and one of them was this tiny little thing that this guy carried to wherever they were going to examine it. When he carried it, he got whatever was on its skin. It had like a slippery kind of skin. It got into his body and infected him, and he wound up with this horrible general infection, and he wound up dying. His body shut down. His immune system shut down. His body didn't know what the fuck to do with this alien thing that he was interacting with.
Did you know that an alien monster was actually caught in Brazil, and there's dozens of witnesses to back it up? It's 1996, Virginia, Brazil. It's a regular day when suddenly people in town see a shiny bright object in the sky, and in a split of a second, it falls down and crashes in a field. People start running towards the area, and when they get there, they see a big round metal object with fire and smoke coming out of it, when suddenly they see these big red right eyes, and an alien monster starts running towards them. Everybody runs, and the creature makes it into town. These three women see it, and even though the creature could not speak, it communicates that it is scared and in pain. Soldiers are sent to the area. One of them is named Marcos. Marcos was able to capture the creature and come in contact with it. Immediately after, he feels sick, and doctors do not know why. And at the age of just 23 years old, he passes away from unknown causes. The firemen that put out the fire also pass away just a few days later. The Brazilian government denies all of it to this day. But if you ask the witnesses, they will tell you that men in black came to their home and threatened them to lie about what they saw. But luckily for us, they held strong. Tell me, what do you think happened that day? Let me know in the comments.
Now, on the surface, CERN looks like a prestigious government agency that seeks to better the world. But what if it had a secret agenda that had been hidden from the public's view?
For years, CERN has been a name synonymous with the occult. Combined with their hailing of Lord Shiva, many people think that they're attempting to open a portal into another dimension by tapping into dark forces. Lord Shiva is known to represent the destroyer of worlds, and the organization loves him so much that they have a life-size statue of him at their headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. But let's take a step back and look at the science behind the Large Hadron Collider. The LHC is essentially a particle accelerator that accelerates protons to near light speed. These protons then collide with each other, creating subatomic particles, allowing them to study their properties. These collisions create an immense amount of energy, approximately 600 million times hotter than the center of the sun.
It's also worth noting that the LHC is not only a particle accelerator, it's also a time machine.
The Earth might be bigger than we thought. For years, people have debated over the shape of the Earth, if it is round or flat. Now this might just all be a conspiracy, but what if the Earth had more than just 7 continents? In Antarctica was just a giant ice wall that kept us from seeing the rest of the continents. What if once you made it past the ice wall, you'll find the 20 continents that are really being hidden from us? And what if there was a map that showed this? There are theories that these continents contain prehistoric animals, aliens, and advanced civilizations, and that the 7 continents that we are living in is actually a giant farm or business owned by a small handful of families that make up the filthy rich in the real world, or in the other continents that we don't know about. In the Amazon jungle, an eerie investigation is underway after reports of bizarre occurrences in a village. The locals claim they are being menaced by 7 feet tall armored aliens with large heads and yellow eyes in Peru. Locals describe creatures resembling the Green Goblin from the Spider-Man franchise. These astonishing claims have emerged from the Iquitu indigenous people, residing in the remote district of Alto Nane, northeast of Lima. According to their accounts, a 15-year-old girl was allegedly attacked by one of these mysterious monsters. Desperate to defend themselves, hunters have fired their guns at the creatures, but it appears these beings are immune to human weapons and can vanish at will. Various theories surround these enigmatic sightings, ranging from real extraterrestrial beings to creatures from local folklore. Some speculate that the creatures might be drones camouflaged with cloth and masks, used to frighten the villagers by illegal miners. Others suggest it could be a case of mass hysteria. The police and Navy have taken up the investigation, and the locals are calling for a military force to be deployed in the region, which is a remote 10-hour river ride from Iquitos City. The mystery deepens as authorities seek to uncover the truth behind these perplexing claims.
According to Max Laughlin, the Large Hadron Collider is the device that led humankind to move into a new universe. The young prodigy recorded videos where he elaborated on his assertions and the portal that CERN researchers opened. His hypotheses about our world include how CERN experiments are threatening to break the fabric of our existence and move us to a parallel reality. He argued that the experiments performed by this machine may have shattered the universe, causing humanity to exist in a parallel reality.